Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is July 21st, 2025, and Hansi Flick has discarded three players out of the academy who have gone back to Barca Athletic and will not be traveling to the preseason tour. Also, Marcus Rashford has underwent his medical exams. And finally, Barcelona are not ruling out another signing during this summer transfer market. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where not only we discuss Barcelona news, but we also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering questions, and getting a discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description, chapters in the timeline, in case you do want to skip through the discussion and get straight into the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. It's completely free. It helps the channel continue to grow. If y'all looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, like Barcelona's newest home kit, make sure it's the Goal Kits, Kit Bag, or Fanatics. And if y'all looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers, courtesy of Barcelona. Of Barca News. I forgot my channel's name. Anyways, I do have another announcement. You know, I've announced in previously that on Saturdays there's a weekly podcast exclusive for channel members, where channel members can dictate what the topics that are being discussed. You know, whatever it's in the comment section, whatever people want to talk about, that's what we talk about during the podcast. Every comment is read, every question answered, every topic covered. But there's a new announcement. For those of you who are already members, you already know this. But for those of you who are not, now I'm gonna be hosting one member a week as a guest on the podcast. So if you wanna be a guest on the channel, talk face to face. Not really face to face because we're not in the same room, but you be a guest in the podcast. If you want to be a guest on a podcast, you want to access these weekly podcasts on Saturdays, you can become a member by hitting the join button, which is in the home tab of the channel. Anyways, let's begin with the news. And the first segment of news this time is not several bits of news. This is a full segment of news, and it's in regards to the CTA, or the technical committee of referees. And as you know, a few weeks ago, I announced, or I reported to you, that the president of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, Rafael Luzan, or is it Pedro Luzan? No, Rafael Luzan, fired everybody in the CTA. This is as part of the whole restructuring of refereeing in Spain, because we've seen the refereeing in Spain is absolutely mediocre. And for a league that aspires to become the best league in the world, the referee needs to improve, and improve a lot. Of course, all the clubs from the first and second division of the Spanish league met with Rafael Luzan last season to try to discuss ways of improving refereeing, except Real Madrid. Real Madrid had their own meeting with Rafael Luzan because, of course, Real Madrid don't want to improve the refereeing for everybody. They want to improve the refereeing for themselves. But nonetheless, as a result of the constant scandals with the refereeing, as a result of these meetings to improve refereeing, Rafael Luzan fired everybody on the CTA, or the Technical Committee of Referees, and he decided to completely restructure it, announcing a new CEO. And a previous video, I told you that today, on Monday, the rest of the members of the CTA were going to be announced. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the newest members of the CTA, and this is who they are. Let's see. As the president, of course, we have Francisco Soto Bailrac, someone who we already talked about when he was first announced. He was the first person to be appointed to the CTA, but now we have more members. Now, I don't want to focus on all the members because it's not really too relevant, but I do want you to focus on Yolanda Parga, okay? That's the person responsible for women's football in Spain. And also, I want you to focus on this bum all the way to the right. And I say bum because look at this guy. He's wearing a beanie, got long hair, a t-shirt. I mean, bro, you couldn't wear a suit for your presentation as an official member of the committee of referees. I mean, everybody's wearing a jacket and shirt, and this guy is in a t-shirt, a beanie, And he got like, what are you doing, bro? Did you just come off the skate park and wait for your picture? But anyways, I want you to focus on this guy, Chema Alonso, who's in charge of technological innovation for the CTA. I guess that would be kind of like the VAR, um, goal line technology, things like that. And why do I want you to focus on these two people, Yolanda Parga, Chema Alonso, and also the president? These three people, because here who these people are. Let's start with first the president, the new president of the CTA, Francisco Soto Bailrac. This guy is an attorney, a very successful attorney in Spain. He's a partner of a law firm. And well, if you do a little more digging, that law firm is owned by a very, very close friend of Florentino Perez, a business partner of Florentino Perez, and of course, the new president of the CTA is someone who has done, well, a lot of work with Florentino Perez. So, surprise, surprise, the head of the new CTA has very close connections to Florentino Perez. I guess Florentino Perez got what he wanted because the previous president of the CTA, Cantalejo, was actually someone who did not like Perez, someone who constantly spoke against Perez and Real Madrid. But now he has been replaced, well, with someone who has very, very close connections to Florentino Perez. Now, the second person on this new committee is Yolanda Parga, the person in charge of women's football in Spain. And who is she? Well, we've talked about her in the channel previously. She is married to a guy by the last name Davila. He's a former referee and who works for Real Madrid. He's actually an employee of Real Madrid. So another person who has very close connection to Real Madrid. And then finally, Carlos Mejia Davila. That was his name. That's her husband. Yolanda Parga is married to Carlos Mejia Davila, a former referee who now works for Real Madrid, who's a representative of Real Madrid. And finally, this guy, Chema Alonso, the guy I told you to focus on. I mean, my God, what are you doing, bro? Why do you look like that? I mean, for fuck's sake, you could have wear a button-up shirt for your presentation. But anyways, this is Chema Alonso. This is directly from his Twitter account. And where is he standing? He's standing at the Real Madrid Museum. Now, you might say, well, Mo, maybe he was just visiting. Maybe he was just doing a tour. No big deal, right? Maybe. But then let's look at some of his tweets. Here's one of his tweets saying, it's in Spanish, but don't worry, I'll translate. It says, los jugadores del Real Madrid se están dejando el alma. Me siento orgulloso de ser madridista a la Madrid. In translation, says, Real Madrid's players are like, leaving it all on the field. I feel very proud to be a Madridista a la Madrid. So these are the new members of the CTA. All have deep, deep connections to Real Madrid. And well, in the case of Chema Alonso, he's not even hiding it. He's straight up coming out and saying, hey, I'm a Madridista and a skateboarder, apparently. The fucking guy couldn't even wear a button-up shirt. But ladies and gentlemen, now we have another body controlled by strictly Madridistas. As we know, the president of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, Rafael Luzan, is a Madridista. The president of La Liga, Javier Tebas, is also a Madridista. And well, now most of the members of the new CTA, well, you guessed it, are also Madridistas. But of course, nobody's going to talk about this. People are only going to talk about Negreira. But my question to you is, if Chema Alonso, the skateboarder, had a post on his Twitter saying Visca Barça, or if Yolanda Parga was married to someone that works at FC Barcelona, or if this guy, the president of the CTA, worked for a firm owned by a close friend to Laporta, could you imagine the headlines? I mean, we will be talking about this day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. I mean, the headlines: corruption in the CTA, Negreira all over again, John Laporta, he's buying a CTA, he's buying trophies. I mean, can you just imagine all the news that would be coming out 24/7 if any of these people were remotely linked to Barcelona, not even directly? If the president of the CTA had a cousin who was married to a girl whose brother's uncle's nephew's dog was seen walking around the city of Barcelona, it would be headlines. But of course, because all these people have direct links to Real Madrid, nobody bats an eye and nobody gives two shits. So another body in the footballing world controlled by Real Madrid. Not surprised whatsoever. And here we are. And yet nobody's going to talk about it, of course. So hit the like button, share this video with people, get the word out there, because don't forget, they want you to think that, ooh, referees, they prefer Barcelona. I mean, Negreira, right? Well, share these kind of videos with those idiots because it's pretty clear. Nobody in Spain favors Barcelona or Catalans for that matter. Anyways, let's do the comment section, and then we are going to talk about the preseason because Hansi Flick has already discarded 3 players, and you're going to be shocked to know which one of these 3 players was discarded. And my man Shin, always with an incredibly generous donations, says, I'm here, bro. You don't have to hold yourself crying in the shower worried that I left you. I absolutely lost my shit laughing Saturday when you said that because I missed last Friday t-shirt and beanie for the W. Yeah, man, you made me very sad. I was like drinking and, I was like sitting behind this window. It was raining and the droplets were coming down the window. It was dark. I was listening to Evanescence and I was just like sad and depressed. But I'm glad to see you in the chat section now. So I'm no longer sad. I'm happy now. And yeah, I mean, I got nothing against beanies. I wear beanies in the winter to keep my ears warm, especially my cauliflower ear on the left. But my God, man, you just got announced as one of the members of the CTA, the Committee of Referees of one of the biggest leagues in the world, and you couldn't wear a fucking suit. Okay, cool. You don't like suits, whatever. A button-up shirt, too much? Okay, fine. How about a polo shirt? This motherfucker showed up in a beanie and a t-shirt. Like, my goodness. Anyways, thank you, my friend, for your very generous donation. Let's see what everyone else is saying. And Mark says, what do you think the bar is for next season? The bar is, and it always should be for Barcelona, is to compete for all trophies. And I don't mean compete just by like, oh, participating. Obviously, you don't get a say in that, right? You participate either way. But I mean to be an actual contender to win that trophy, right? And that means every trophy. Champions League, La Liga, Copa del Rey, Spanish Super Cup. Barcelona should always be competing and should always be a contender to win these trophies. Now, whether Barcelona win it or not, that's a whole nother story, right? But you have to be a contender. Because in football, you lose. In fact, you end up losing more than you win. But you still have to be a contender, right? And a legit contender, not a Delulu contender, like Madridistas thinking that Real Madrid was going to mount a comeback against Arsenal. No, I mean like a legit contender. So that it should be the bar always, every single season, that we should be competing for all trophies. Justice Boyo says, hello, Mo. I'm Justice Boyo from the Gambia. I'm so happy to see Marcus Rashford arrive in Barcelona yesterday, and I hope Master Hansi Flick to wake the hungry monster in him to win trophies. I hope so too, my friend. I've never denied Marcus Rashford's talent. I think he's an incredibly, incredibly talented left winger. He got speed, pace, dribbling, 1v1, passing, scoring. I mean, he has it all, right? But the problem is, of course, it's been his discipline. But if Marcus Rashford can stay disciplined, can stay focused, can awake that monster in him, that Rashford that we all fell in love with when he first arrived on the scene, fresh out of the Manchester United Academy. If he could do that, I mean, this team will be unstoppable. And we could definitely dream with winning the Champions League. I mean, we could already dream of winning the Champions League because we have Lamine Yamal. But then you pair that up with a monster Rashford on the left, we would be unstoppable. So, of course, the question is, will he be that Rashford, or is he going to be the Rashford from the last few seasons? That's the question. Now, I have full faith in Flick because I think if there's anyone that can awake the monster in Rashford is Hansi Flick. I mean, Hansi Flick is solely responsible for turning Rafinha, an average player, into Gotinha. Because when have you ever seen Rafinha play the way he played last season? Nowhere. Not under Xabi. Not at freaking, what was that bum-ass team that he played in Premier League? I'm blanking. But anyways, not in France. The Rafinha from last season, no one has ever seen that version. And that was all Flick. Same with Ferran Torres. I mean, for the first time, he actually lived up to his nickname, the Shark, because before that, he was no shark. He was a sardine. Not even. He was maybe algae that sardine eat. Wait, do sardine eat algae? I'm pretty sure they do. And everybody. I mean, Pedri has always been phenomenal, but last season he was like beyond that. He was magical, right? Lamine had his best season yet. Cubarsí, great defender. Last season, even better. Iñigo Martinez. I mean, Iñigo Martinez was fucking Paulo Maldini last season. I mean, every player besides Araujo became better. Even the great ones became even better. So if there's anyone that can get Marcus Rashford to the levels that he was before his decline, I think it's Hansi Flick. And if Hansi Flick can't do it, then no one can. And then at that point, Rashford should just go to Saudi, cash out, and just, sail into the sunset. Because if Flick cannot do it, nobody can. Nobody can. And emoji, no name, says, "What's up, Bo? I'm about to drive from my first job to my side hustle here in Chicago traffic. Glad the podcast will entertain me during the drive." Well, I'm glad to be with you during your drive, my friend. Pay attention. Don't watch the screen. Just listen to what I have to say, because safety comes first, my friend. Safety comes first. Morgan says, "Mo, it's amazing you have over 27 Barca fans just here waiting to you Barca news. You really came for B. Scott Barca." Well, thank you, my friend. And yes, thank you all of you who were waiting. Thank you all of you who are watching right now. And thanks all of you who will be watching when it ends. This really, really means the world to me. I never, ever, ever imagined that I would have 300 people watching. I mean, right now it's 350 people watching what I have to say. Like, that's insanity. Like most of the shit I say is fucking stupid. And you guys, for 350 of you to want to listen to that, I mean, that's fucking amazing. But thank you guys for all the love and support. And let's do one more comment before we move on to the next segment. But my man, not the gamer, says, "Hey Mo, how are you? What are your ideal sales and departures for this window? P's thoughts on Lookman to Inter almost done." I mean, departures is going to have to be Pau Victor. As you know, I would have loved for Pau Victor to stay, but unfortunately, he's not getting minutes. And honestly, I think he has too much quality to just be sitting on the bench and rotting away. So I really want to see Pau Victor go somewhere else. Not because I want to get rid of him, but because I think he deserves minutes somewhere else. So I would want to see Pau Victor leave. Obviously, Iñaki Peña has to go. I mean, there's no space for him. Right now, we have 2 million goalkeepers. So it's time to, for him to go. Ter Stegen, he's going to have to leave, because what are we going to do with him, right? We have Juan Garcia, we have Wojciech, Szczesny. Ter Stegen's going to have to go. Let me see. Pau Victor, Iñaki, Ter Stegen. Who else is left that would need to leave to make space? A defender, I would rather Araujo, but it's going to be Christensen, or it has to be Christensen. So a center back is going to have to leave, because unfortunately we just have too many center backs. So someone's going to have to leave. And then finally, I would say, and this is going to be controversial, and it's never going to happen in a million years. So here we go. I wouldn't mind. Obviously, this is never going to happen. But honestly, I wouldn't mind Dani Olmo leaving. I know. Mo, what the fuck are you talking about? Dani Olmo had some pretty great matches. Yes, he did. But he also spent half of the season injured. And the other half where he wasn't injured, half of it was great, and the other half was beyond it. It was average. So it was a quarter great, a quarter mediocre, and then the other half him on the bench. And he cost us 60 mil. And that to me is painful, because we had Fermin Lopez the entire time. And sure, skill-wise, Dani Olmo is more skilled than Fermin Lopez. I'm not stupid. I know that. Dani Olmo is more skilled than Fermin Lopez. Anybody can see that. But it's not always about who's more skilled, right? At some point, it's also about performance. Because one thing is to be skilled, a whole other thing is to perform. And Dani Olmo simply cannot perform because of his injuries. You could be Lionel Messi 2.0, and if you spend half of the season injured, then what's the point? But obviously, Dani Olmo's not going anywhere, right? And I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack on this, but I do believe that position is oversaturated. And if I had to choose between Olmo and Fermin, I will choose Fermin any day of the week. Even if Dani Olmo is more skilled, I would choose Fermin Lopez any day of the week. He's way more consistent. He puts out many more better performances, many more good performances, I should say. Like Olmo, when he puts out great performances, those performances are better than Fermin's, but they're once every blue moon. Where Fermin puts out consistent good performances. They might not be as good as Olmo, but hey, I rather 10 good performances versus one great performance. Does that make sense? So if I had to choose between Olmo and Fermin, I would choose Fermin any day of the week. And let's not forget, Fermin Lopez cost us $0. He's from the academy. 60 mil on Dani Olmo. I don't think he was worth that. 30 mil, I'd be like, cool, sure. But 60 mil? And that goes back to the whole point that I've always been talking about, the inexperience of Deco. Deco went to RB Leipzig and they were like, we want 60. And he was like, okay. That's not negotiating. If you go to a dealership and you accept whatever first price they give you, you fucked up. And that's Deco. Clubs give him whatever price and he's like, all right, cool. And it's like, that's not being a good sporting director. Sporting director is knowing, okay, you want 60? No, that's not what I'm going to give you because that's not what the player is worth. Oh, you don't want him? Okay, you don't want to negotiate? Fine, bye. I mean, we didn't need Dani Olmo to begin with. But anyways, I am straying away from the main topic, which is, of course, the news. Let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about the preseason because, ladies and gentlemen, more and more reports are confirming what I told you weeks and weeks ago, which is in regards to Barcelona's away kit, the Kobe Bryant version, the Black Mamba version. And now more and more reports are confirming that Barcelona are set to unveil their away kit during the preseason tour in Asia. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, Barcelona have already made official the dates of the preseason tour. They're on Thursday. They're going to be flying to Japan. They're going to be playing against Vissel Kobe. Then they're going to be going to Korea. What the fuck is Korea? Going to South Korea, where they're going to be playing against FC Seoul and Daegu FC. And it's expected that Barcelona will be officially unveiling the away kit during this preseason tour. Now, it's not fully confirmed whether it's going to be against Vissel Kobe or one of the Korean teams. My feeling is going to be Vissel Kobe, but that's right around the corner. And as we know, Barcelona doesn't work too well with deadlines. But that's my feeling is going to be against Vissel Kobe. But either way, whether it's against Vissel Kobe, FC Seoul or Daegu FC, just know that the away kit will be launched during the preseason tour. And in fact, the team is expected to wear that kit during one of their preseason tour matches. Now, people who usually track Barcelona's kit sales expect to be this one of the most highest selling kits in the history of the club, just because, the collaboration, the gold and purple, in honor of the Lakers, of course, the Kobe Bryant collaboration. They expect this to be, one of their highest seller kits. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being. I want it, honestly. I think it's a really cool collaboration. I mean, very few football teams make collaborations with other sports. I mean, PSG do it with Jordan, Barcelona now with Kobe. But besides that, I don't think I've ever seen another football team making a collaboration with another sport. Not to mention, we have the coolest collaboration with music, with Spotify, through Spotify, having artists on our kit. So I think Barcelona are doing a great job in, with these cross collaborations. And, this one with Kobe, which means a lot. Obviously, Kobe was one of the greatest basketball players ever. He, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. So I think that makes the kit that much more special. I definitely want it. I'm not a big fan of the home kit, so I'm definitely going to be going for the away kit. But it's expected to be officially unveiled during the preseason tour. Now, speaking of the preseason tour, today was an off day for the team. The team, Hansi Flick gave him an off day after they've been training for a full week. And now it's been revealed that after a full week of training, Hansi Flick has discarded 3 players that were called up from the academy to train with the first team. And those 3 players have been sent back to Barca Athletic and will not be traveling with the first team to Asia. Now, who are the players? One of them is going to shock you. But the first two are Landry Farré, the center back that Hansi Flick had called up to first team training. The second one is Juan Hernandez. And the third one is Jean Virgili. Jean Virgili, Landry Farré, and Juan Hernandez have all been discarded. They have been sent back to Barca Athletic, and they will not be traveling with the team to the preseason tour in Asia. Now, I know a lot of people are probably shocked by this because there's been a lot of hype around Jean Virgili, but it seems that Barcelona coaches, Hansi Flick, his staff still believe that the player has lots of potential, that he's showing a lot of promise, but they believe that he's not there yet, that he's still a little green, right? So Jean Virgili will not be traveling with the first team. He will be going back to Barca Athletic. He will start training with Barca Athletic starting this week in order to get more experience, continue growing, continue developing, because it seems like Flick doesn't believe that Virgili is ready yet, which is completely normal. Before people start losing their mind, oh my God, what's happening? Hansi Flick is the worst coach ever. Before people lose their mind, this is very natural, right? Lamine Yamal, Pau Cuarci, Marc Bernal, those are the exceptions. And that's something I've talked about a lot on the channel. Those are the exception. Very, very, very few players make a breakthrough into the first team and become starters at a young age. Most players, it takes some time to develop, grow, and then become accustomed to the high pace and high intensity of first division football. Most players take some time. Very, very, very few players like Lamine, Cuarcio, Marc Bernal can make the jump into the first team as teenagers and just hit the ground running. Those are the exceptions, not the rule. And that's very important for people to understand. People are always like, oh, what about this guy? This guy, oh, he's doing great. No. Very few players can make the jump and hit the ground running. Most players need a long time to adapt to the high intensity of first division football. So Jean Virgili, Landry Farré, and Juan Hernandez have all been sent back to Barca Athletic. And of course, you might ask, well, who are the players who will be staying with Hansi Flick training and traveling? It will be, of course, Tony and Guille Fernandez, the Fernandez cousins, Dro, who I told you about in yesterday's video, Rooney Bargi, who I also told you about in yesterday's video, and Joffre Torrens. So far, Joffre Torrens, Dro, Bargi, Tony, and Guille Fernandez will continue to train with the first team, and they are expected to be traveling with Hansi Flick to Japan and South Korea. And of course, there's Ibrahim Diarra, who unfortunately has been injured, will be out for 4 weeks. So he too has been ruled out of the preseason tour. All right, let's see what the comments are saying. And then we are going to talk about Marcus Rashford because we do have an update in regards to our newest signing. Pro Gamer says Dro is not better than Jean Virgili, bro. I watched him all season. Probably it's because his grandpa died or it's because he played in preseason. Well, I mean, they're completely two different players. You're talking about Jean Virgili, who's a left winger, and Dro, who's more of an attacking midfielder, center midfielder position. So I don't know if those two are comparable. Fabrice says, hey, Mo, what will be your preferred lineup with Rashford now in the team? Woo. I think I would do Rashford, Lamine, Lewy, Rafinha, right? Rafinha is an attacking mid, obviously Lewy as our 9, and then Lamine and Rashford on as our wingers. I think that would be probably the preferred one. But of course, we'll see what Hansi Flick will be doing with his new lineup. Joseph says, hey, Mo, I'm Joseph from Liberia. What lineup would you think Barca will... Okay, I just answered that question. Alejandro says, Mo, I still hope Ter Stegen can be sold. Otherwise, in the second half of the season, we can have problems again. I don't see Ter Stegen being sold. Even if he leaves, and that's a big if, I just don't see him being sold. It's probably going to be a contract rescission, some kind of agreement that he would leave as a free agent. but I just don't see Ter Stegen being sold. I just don't see that. Chuchu says, "Hi Mo, great to watch you again. Those that follow La Masia won't be surprised. Pedro Rodriguez was called up ahead of Virgili. Dro is a top tier talent. 100%, 100% agree with you. Oh no, your sound is breaking up. Is my sound still breaking up? Let me know in the chat section. I hope not. Why is this happening? The Jeff says this corruption is getting just too funny now. When you started announcing the committee of refs and connections to Madrid, I just started laughing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's always been like that, and nothing has changed. Let's see. Mark says, Mo, to me, Kunde and Eric are two very reliable right backs. It's the left back that needs the reinforcement to support Balle. Dumfries looked world class because he went up against Martin. Keep up the good work. So that's what the preseason will be for Jofre Torrens. Hansi Flick really has his hopes on Jofre Torrens. He's been watching him for quite some time at the academy. He believes he could be the natural competition for Alejandro Balde. So Jofre Torrens, who's, by the way, been impressing during the preseason, will get to travel to the Asia Tour. And, if he can hold his own, if he can show that he could be valuable, he might definitely become the substitute for Balde. So this is why the preseason is very, very important. Shin says, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if the beanie and t-shirt dude becomes the best official CTA history. It's mostly the guy that doesn't look the part in my experience. True, true. But I mean, seeing how Madridista he is, my hopes are not that high. And Zidane says, hello, Mo. When is Rashford going to start training with Barca? I'll talk about that in a little bit. And my man Shin gifting a One Barca News membership. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Again, Saturdays, exclusive podcast for members only. And then I'm going to start hosting one member a week as a guest on those podcasts. So if you want to watch those podcasts, they're called the MoCast. If you want to be a guest on the MoCast, you can become a member. And thanks to Shin, you definitely can become one now. And Noe says, hey, Mo, how you been? Glad to catch you live. Your videos are so amazing. Thank you for the effort you put in. Cheers from Houston, Texas. All right, Houston, Texas in the house. Let's fucking go. Thank you, my friend, for watching. And my bad Shin with another generous donation says, so starting today, I've decided I'm going to buy 5 random memberships for peeps in the chat. After today, I'll be on the first podcast of every month. Good luck, Barca News family. Wow, that is very, very generous of you, my friend. So people, take advantage of his generosity. Become members. You can join the amazing podcast on the weekend. We always have fun. It's super chill, relaxed. It's just people hanging around, talking random stuff. And again, once I start hosting guests, it's only going to get better. But thank you, my friend, for your great generosity. Let's do one more comment and then we'll switch back to the news. But the great one says, hi, Mo. This is my first time on your live. Brokers want to thank you for everything you are doing. Well, thank you, my friend, for joining and for your comment. I hope you can join us more often on the podcast. And with that, let's get back to the next bit of news. And it's in regards to our newest signing, Marcus Rashford. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Rashford has officially passed his medical testing. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, Marcus Rashford landed in the city of Barcelona. He was caught by reporters from Gigante who work for Gerard Romero. I posted that footage on yesterday's video. If you want to see it, check it out. And while today he underwent medical exams, he went to the Ciudad Esportiva. He passed his medical exams, and he also met with both Deco and Hansi Flick. Now, today was a day off for the team, but of course, Flick being Flick, he does not take a day off. So Hansi Flick was present at the Ciudad Esportiva. He met with Marcus Rashford in person, where the two of them talked for the first time face-to-face, and where Deco also got to meet Marcus Rashford, and they also talked face-to-face. Now, this is not the first time that Flick is talking to Rashford. Flick had already called Rashford before he arrived in Barcelona over the phone. They talked about, what Flick thinks Rashford's role could be on the team. They discussed tactics, the plan, everything. So they had already spoken over the phone. This, of course, was the first time they were speaking face-to-face as a manager and a player. Now, as I said, Rashford has passed his medical exams. Tomorrow, Tuesday, July the 22nd, he will be joining the training with his new teammates. Today, again, the team was off, so nobody was at Ciudad Esportiva, so Rashford did not get to meet any of his new teammates. But tomorrow, Tuesday, he will join the practice. He will meet his new teammates, and of course, it will be his first practice under his new coach, Hansi Flick. Now, it was expected that Barcelona were going to unveil Marcus Rashford tomorrow, Tuesday, but that has been pushed to Wednesday. Why? Because Hansi Flick has scheduled 2 training sessions for tomorrow, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So therefore, Barcelona have decided instead to push the official announcement to Wednesday. So today, Monday, Rashford passed medical exams. Tomorrow, Tuesday, he'll have double session practice with his new teammates. And on Wednesday, he will have his official unveiling while he signs the contract. Barcelona will make the official announcement, pictures, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, Thursday, Marcus Rashford will travel with the first team to Japan ahead of Barcelona's first preseason match against Iniesta's former team, Vissel Kobe. Now, I do want to talk about the statements that the former England legend and a former Barcelona player, Gary Lineker, had to say about Rashford. If you don't know who Gary Lineker is, he played at Barcelona from 1986 to 1989. He scored 52 goals in 132 appearance, 38 appearances, 138 appearances. I never got to watch him because, well, that was way before I was born. But this is what Gary Lineker had to say about Barcelona signing Marcus Rashford. Barca have it. Oh, hold on. I don't know why, but my StreamYard just completely minimized. But Barca haven't had an Englishman in their team for a long time, and it's a good signing. He's a great player. He's had his problems at United in recent years. He hasn't played much, but he has a lot of talent. The problem is Manchester United. Very interesting statement. The problem is Manchester United. Those who have come out of there have played better elsewhere. He's very fast, very dangerous, and a good person. I hope he can show his level. There are a lot of games being played these days, and more starters are needed. And Marcus has great quality. I think he's going to be a great signing for Barca. We'll see, because you never know. But I'm very happy to see him at Barcelona. He's a good friend of mine. His best position is on the left wing, but he can also play as a center forward. He's very quick when he has the ball at his feet. The best position is on the left. Flick's Barca style of play could suit him very well because he's very dangerous. So Gary Lineker, the England legend and the former Barcelona player, is saying it's not Marcus. It's actually Manchester United who are the problem because everybody who has left have done better. And I mean, he's not wrong, right? What's that guy's name? The Brazilian guy. I'm forgetting his name. At Real Betis. He's doing much better at Real Betis. McTominay, he's doing better. Is it Napoli? Is that where he's at? What do you guys think? They think it was Marcus Rashford? They think it was Manchester United? Let me know in the chat section or in the comment section if you're watching this when it ends. And of course, I guess we'll get our answer pretty soon once the season begins. All right, let's get back to the chat section, and then we are going to talk about how Barcelona are not ruling out another signing. And Shim, my man, gifting 5 Barca News memberships. Thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. That's very, very incredibly generous of you. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for all the generosity and the support you give this channel. And then let's see. Where did this go? Oh my God. This completely moved on me. I have no idea where I left off. I think I left off here. Mark says, I think the bonus we would get for Olmo leaving will be greater than the bonus from keeping him. I think so too. But I don't know. People think I'm crazy when I say that. But Mike says, I truly can't find a way to subscribe and be a member. I don't know where it's at. Mo. You know what? I'm going to help you out. I've actually never done it myself, obviously, because I can't be a member of my own channel. But don't worry, mon chéri. We're going to share a screen here. And we're going to figure out together. All right? Let's see. We're going to share a screen. We're going to share this tab. New tab. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go to YouTube. Et voila. Oui. We're going to go view your channel. Okay. If you're on the computer and you're here in the channel, you go to home, right? Which we're already on. Then you go to... Damn, I don't even know how to do this. I think... Oh, okay. So there's a tab here for members. But I think... Oh, you know what? It's because I'm looking at this from my own channel. Let me open a different tab that's not logged in into my channel. Sorry. Here we go. We're going to figure this out, guys. We're going to figure this out. Technology, it's a double-edged sword. It does wonderful things, but it could also be a pain in the ass. All right, here we go. We're ready. So let's go here. Okay, now we're going to share the screen again. We can do this. I believe in us. Right here. All right, so this is a different Chrome. No. Why? Why is it doing this? Oh my God. All right, hold on. Manage. This is a pain in the ass. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to be helpful here. I'm actually making things worse. Okay, try another way. Use passkey. Use phone or tablet. I think I got this though. I know. You guys are probably sitting at home like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Turn on, allow, connect devices. Pin. Wait. I think we got liftoff. Let's go. Okay. We got liftoff, guys. We got liftoff. Houston. We got liftoff. All right, here we go. Now I can share my screen and we can figure this out. Okay. So this is another Chrome where it's not logged in as Barca News. So if you go to YouTube, right? And it takes a million years to load up. Okay. Where are my subscriptions? Wait, hold on. We could just go here. But I don't want to watch. Stop it. God damn it. I don't want to wax myself. Get out of here. Wait, how do I go to my channel? There we go. Okay. Here we go. Finally. All right. So if you're in the home tab of the channel, and right here, if you're already subscribed, it'll say subscribed, right? So then you just click down. Oh, sorry. Next to it, it says join. You just click join, and you'll see the different tiers. There's the Johan Cruyff, the Pep Guardiola, and the Lionel Messi. And you just, pick whichever you want. You hit join, and that's it. Easy peasy, right? Now, I think on the cell phone, if you hit the home tab, there is no separate button for join. You would have to go to subscribe and hit the arrow down. I'm pretty sure. But either way, if you go to the home tab, it's next to the subscribed. It'll say join. I know. Sorry, guys. That took a million years. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section. Let's see. A treaty says having a quasi-competent left winger like MBE Rashi has rendered almost redundant, proving more and more his signing was ill-advised. Yet another disaster class by our NPC sporting director Deco. Agreed. And I think it was a big mistake, not because of Olmo himself, but because we never needed him. And I think it was just the club trying to just appease the fans, because we had tried to sign Nico Williams. Nico Williams decides not to come. And then it's like, oh, no, we have to have a signing. We have to sign someone. It's like, you don't. It's okay to go through a summer transfer market without any signings. If you don't need any, all we needed was Nico. He didn't come. Fine. No signings. No, we have to have someone. And they go and fucking sign Dani Olmo. Oh, well, it's because he wanted to come. I don't give a shit if he wants to come or he doesn't want to come. That should not be the barrier of entry into Barcelona. Everybody wants to come to Barcelona. Does that mean we should sign him? I would love to be a Barca player. Should Barcelona sign me? Fuck no. I fucking suck. So it's like, my God. And my man, Chavez Juan, with a donation, but no comment. No comment. What happened? Did you forget to put the comment in? If you did, please drop the comment in the chat section. I'll make sure to read it. And then let's do one more, and then we'll go back to the news. But Mr. Machodo says, I think Juan Garcia is a defensive goalie. and he can not handle the high line Barcelona, the high Barcelona defense. I mean, he's never played with a high line. But that doesn't mean he cannot learn it or adapt to it, right? I can't say either way because obviously, again, he's never played with a high line. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, right? I wouldn't be making any assumptions right now where we haven't even seen him play and be like, oh, he's gonna be great at it, or no, he's gonna be absolute trash at it. Right now, we don't know. Obviously, the hope is that he does adjust well and he does absolutely amazing. I have faith in him. I think he's an incredibly promising goalkeeper. So I have faith that, yes, he will learn and adapt and be good at it. But again, it's his a completely, new position for him, new goalkeeper. We're just going to have to wait and see. And Bisca Michael with the donation says, will Marc Bernal work as Inigo replacement? No, because I mean, I'm sure he could play as a center back, but Bernal, that's where he shines. As a number 5, as a pivot. As I always said, you want your players to be in a position where they best shine. Can they play another position? Sure. Would they do a good job? Sure. But it's better to have them where they actually shine, right? Kind of like where Araujo used to play as a right back. Sure, he used to do a good job, but he would do a much better job as a center back. So obviously, you want a player to be in the position where he shines the best. Just because he could do other positions well doesn't mean you should have him there. He should always be in a position where he does the best. But anyways, let's get back to the news. Let's do the last bit of news, and then we'll do more comments, I promise. But let's talk about Barcelona not ruling out another signing. Now, I told you this I think it was a week or two ago, that Barcelona were considering that if they didn't sign the left winger, to try to sign a fullback that can play on both sides. Then yesterday, I told you about how Barcelona had called the agent of Marc Pubil, who's currently at Almeria and seemed at least, was very close to making a full move to AC Milan. And Barcelona called his agent like, hey, what's going on? Is this move done? Is it not? And now more reports are coming out saying that Barcelona are not fully ruling out signing a fullback. Now, Barcelona do have some things they need to do first. For example, they need to register Joan Garcia, Rooney Bargi, and Marcus Rashford. They also have to do the whole VIP seats deal, get the report from Crow, the auditor, approving the seats, and then turn it over to La Liga, going hopefully under the 1-to-1 rule. And once all those things are done, if there's still margin on the salary and Barcelona can sign, then they will try to sign a fullback. Now, this is not 100% sure because there's a lot of things that Barcelona need to do first, but it's also not completely ruled out, right? This is not Barcelona saying, all right, we signed Rashford, Juan Garcia, Rooney, that's it, we're done. No. The door is still open for another signing, and if that signing is possible, it will be a fullback. Now, it's reported that Flick would prefer someone that can play on the right to help out Koundé, because even though the club does have full trust in Eddie Garcia, they want someone that's more physical, someone like Dumfries. I'm not saying Dumfries himself, but someone with a similar profile. So Barcelona not ruling out a forced signing for this summer. But again, first Barcelona need to focus on registering their players, achieving the 1-to-1, which I don't know how that's going to happen now that the stadium doesn't seem like it's going to be ready anytime soon. But nonetheless, Barcelona have some priorities first that they need to finish. And then once those priorities are finished, and if it's possible, Barcelona will try to sign a fullback to reinforce the right back position. All right, that is all the news for this live stream. Let's do comments. Choo-choo, my man Choo-choo says, Mo, Olmo is miles better than Fermin. Can we stop this comparison? I agree. I'm not saying he's not. Olmo is better than Fermin Lopez. But Olmo spends half the season injured. And out of the half where he's healthy, half of it is great matches, and the other half, below average performances. Fermin gives you a maybe not as a good performance as Olmo when he's having a good day, but He's a way more consistent. So let's say Olmo gives you a 9. Right? This is just to throw a random number out there. Let's see, he gives you a 9 when he's, having a good day. Fermin Lopez might give you a 7.5, right? Maybe 8. But here's the thing. Olmo gives you a 9 once every 10 matches. Fermin Lopez will give you a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 matches. And I would much rather have a 7.5 or an 8 in 8 matches than a 9 in one match out of 10. So is Olmo more talented? Yes. But as we've learned in football, talent is not all. Performance is also very, very important. You can be the most talented player in the world, and if you can outperform, it doesn't matter. Joao Felix, incredibly talented player. The guy can't even find a team to take him because he simply just does not perform. Right? So is Olmo better than Fermin? Yes. Would I rather have Olmo over Fermin? Fuck no. I would take Fermin Lopez any day of the week over Dani Olmo. Let's see. Mike Valencia says, Mike Valencia became a member thanks to Shin's donation. So thank you, Shin, again. Remember, Saturdays, now that you're a member, you can access the weekly podcast for members only. Oh, shit, why do I have still Deco's picture on there? Shin says, to all the new members, you are all very welcome. Hope to see every one of you Saturday, Bisca Barça. Yes, Bisca Barça, my friend. Let me see. Cralio says, dang, I hope Jean Virgili is one of the... Isn't what he is. We already talked about that. Mark says, I think the bonus we would get for Olmo leaving will be... Oh, wait. Already read that. Sorry, now I'm like repeating messages. All right, here we go. Atredo says, Mo, do you reckon if Flick turns MBE Rashi into world beater, we should offer him a 2-year contract and go all out for Nusa? I mean, let's chill. Let's just wait to see how Marcus Rashford does, and then we can talk about what we do if he ends up being, great. Not the Gamer says, the girls in the ad will run CTA better than Chema. Yeah. Corazao says, why sign more players when we're not even in the 1-to-1 yet. I don't think we'll be in the 1-to-1 rule 26. Yeah. I really hope we do get back into the 1-to-1. But I don't know if it's going to happen because what's holding us back from reaching the 1-to-1 is for the auditor to count those 100 million euros from the VIP seats as revenue. And even though the seats are built, if the stadium is not ready, is the auditor still going to count those 100 million? Is the auditor still going to say, yeah, there's built so you can count it, even though the stadium is not open and we're not playing in it? So that's my concern. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the auditor still says good to go, green light, and La Liga counts the 100 million and we go under the 1-to-1. But I don't know, man. It's not looking good. Let's see. Shin says, I thought what that ad came up that we all got a sneak peek at Mo's stash. If you know, no, not my stash. Not just European wax trying to convince us that we should be hairless. Sulaiman says, Fermin is far more consistent and effective. Plus, I love the fact that we are one big community thanks to Mo Bisca Barça. Bisca Barça, my friend. And yes, I do agree. Not to mention, Fermin cost us 0. Olmo cost us 60. He's not worth 60. But anyways, maybe this season he'll turn it around and he'll become Rafinha 2.0 and have an incredible season and stay healthy. Because again, at the end of the day, I want all Barcelona players to do great. Because if the players do great, the team does great. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? And my man Chavez Juan becoming a new member thanks to the incredible generosity of Shin. And then David Lopez says they're saying they'll be back at that Camp Nou by August 10th. No, August 10th is completely ruled out. We're not going back to the Camp Nou on August 10th. And this is official. The club themselves have confirmed August 10th, we're not going back. The Joan Gamper Trophy match that was supposed to happen on August 10th is not happening. It's going to happen at the Johan Cruyff Stadium, which has a capacity of 6,000 people. Now, the new goalpost, because you keep moving the goalpost, is September 14th weekend, which is the 4th fixture of this upcoming season, where Barcelona will be playing against Valencia. It's the first home match of the season. That's when we're supposedly we're going to go back to the Camp Nou. At this point, I'm not holding my breath because everything that comes out of this board is pure bullshit. They told us November of last year, then December, then February, then April, then May, then August, now September. I mean, at some point, when someone just lies and lies and lies to you, you're like, all right, enough is enough. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your likes, your comments, subscriptions, your incredibly generous donations. I'm looking at you, Shin. I will be posting another video later tonight, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be scarce.